Hey guys, what's up? It's Lainey, and today I am doing a video all about my experience with Author Mentor Match. If you don't know what AMM is, it is an author mentorship program where more experienced writers who are agented, have book deals, etc. are paired with younger writers who are just trying to get into the door with publishing. I am a round 5 mentee, and round 6 actually opens for submissions on Friday. So I thought this would be a good video if you're thinking about joining, if you don't know what Author Mentor Match is, that I could talk about my experience and kind of the steps that I took before I started to apply to it. My experience so far has been really great. My mentor is Laura Beth Johnson. She has a young adult sci-fi coming out in 2020 with Penguin, and I was so lucky to be picked by her because if you don't know, it's a mentorship program. You apply to it and then you get picked basically if they like your work. Updates for where I'm at with my manuscript. I am currently in Act 2 of my book where I'm revising it. It's slow going, but I needed to really take the time to go through things and rework the structure of my plot, and working really hard on the character arcs, which were definitely lacking in my second draft. I'm hoping to finish it sometime in April, and I'll send it back to my mentor for her to read and give me more notes. And I'm also at that point going to be giving it to my critique partners in my critique group, and hopefully by the summer. I don't want to put like a deadline on it at all. For this, I don't want to rush it, which is what I've definitely done in the past with my writing, is rush things. But it'd be nice to be able to start querying this manuscript in the summer. Fingers crossed, but let's not get our hopes up. I just really want to take the time it really takes to really revise this and make it the best possible manuscript for agents to look at. That's kind of like my update for where I'm currently at in my manuscript from being picked back in round 5, which was in the end of October. So far, I have learned a whole lot about the writing, revision, and everything. Definitely based on Laura Beth's notes that she gave me, and I'm looking at things I never would have thought to look at. But also having that mentor kind of watching, not really watching me, but being there for me when I need her and really help guiding my writing journey has been priceless. I mean, I can't even put a price tag on how helpful she has been so far to me. So AMM is a young adult and middle grade mentorship program. If you have a completed manuscript, I would definitely suggest that you apply and see how you do. This is the second mentorship program that I have submitted to. I submitted to Pitch Wars back in 2017. I did not get picked. So I definitely have seen the other side of not being picked for something. It does hurt. I mean, it hurts that you feel bad and you're like, I'm just not good enough, which is a recurring theme in my writing life. I feel like with these mentorship programs, it really doesn't mean that your manuscript is bad. It's just it's very subjective. It just means that another mentor connected with another manuscript more. But it's okay to feel bad. I felt bad when I didn't get picked for Pitch Wars. Rejection just makes you better, and when I got rejected from Pitch Wars, it helped me produce this manuscript, Pair of Prides, that got me into Author Mentor Match. Always look on the upside of every rejection. If I hadn't gotten rejected, I wouldn't have written Pair of Prides. So it's a silver lining to a rejection story, I guess. So if you want to apply to Author Mentor Match, the submission window opens on March 1st and it goes until March 5th. What you need for your submission materials, obviously you need to have your full manuscript ready to go, but you apply with a query, a synopsis, and your first 50 pages of your manuscript. I applied like at 1 o'clock in the morning. Later that day when I was at work, I got a request for a full. I always see a lot of questions about whether you should submit right away or you should wait till the end. I submit it in the middle, so there's really no perfect time to submit, but I did like submitting halfway through. I don't know why, I just felt good about submitting in the middle of the submission window period. If you're thinking about applying, I am going to be linking down below the Mentee Hopeful Facebook group that I've been a part of since I wanted to apply, and I really recommend checking it out. There's a lot of other Mentee Hopefuls in that group, and there's always a lot of exchanging of information, beta readers, critique partners. You can find them all in this Facebook group, so I highly suggest you guys check out that Facebook group if you're thinking about applying. It's very helpful, and it helped ease my fears when I was applying. One of the good things about Author Mentor Match is that the decision period is about like a 2 to 3 week, I think it's like 2 weeks maybe a week and a half to 2 weeks before mentors pick who they want to mentor. During the first week of it, I actually took a break. Well, I took the break for my own mental health because I've been working on writing for the entire year up until that point in October. So I took a week break, but then I immediately switched gears and worked on something else. It's very, very helpful to work on something else while you're waiting for the announcements. I started working on my new project, Cruel Family, which is what I've been calling it, and I started outlining it while I was waiting for an announcement to happen, and it did take my mind off things because it's very easy to fall into obsessively checking your mentor's Twitters, checking the hashtags. I have fallen victim to this time and time again. I even said last round, I'm like, I'm not going to check the Twitter hashtags. I'm just going to let it be and ignore it basically. But I'm human. I was definitely checking the hashtags and the teasers and everything like that. It's just human nature. But don't get obsessive about it is what I'm trying to say. It's good to kind of glance or not if that's just not what you're, if you think it might be worse for you with your anxiety. I'm really glad that I had the extra project that I had to work on while I was waiting. The other thing I want to talk about is mentors and all that. I'll link down below the mentor wish lists as well. You can submit up to 4 mentors. All the submission guidelines and everything are on the website. Definitely check it out. My story is a little bit unique, I guess, but I know I'm not the only one that this happened to. I was not picked by someone that I submitted to. And this does happen in both AMM and Pitch Wars. If the mentors that receive the submission is like, this isn't for me, but maybe this is for someone else, they pass it along, and that is what kind of happened with my situation. I got passed on to someone else who ended up really connecting with my story. So I didn't actually submit to her, and I did get an email right before announcements asking if I'd be willing to work with a different mentor than who I applied to. And of course I said yes. The mentor who picked me was, I mean, obviously Laura Beth, and it's funny because she was the 5th person on my submission list. I had the 4 and then it was Laura Beth, and I didn't end up applying to her because it was between like the 5, and it just seemed like she wanted a sci-fi, and I was very hard into my fantasy, and I'm like, I don't want to throw away my shot with her, so I'm not going to apply to her even though I wanted to. So I'm really happy that happened. I'm really glad I'm working with Laura Beth. I really lucked out with a really great mentor, and I'm just so happy. That has been my AMM experience. If you have any other questions, I can try to answer them down below, but I mean, obviously I don't know any like behind the scenes stuff. I just know it from a mentee standpoint. I hope you guys applied to it if you can. If you have a completed YA or middle grade manuscript, I mean, why not? The worst that can happen is they say no. It gives you a great excuse to try querying without actually querying. You're using a query letter and you're submitting like you would be submitting to an agent. But just know that even after you get in, there is so much work that needs to be done for your manuscript. I knew that going into it. I didn't have like any timeline for when I wanted to query because I'm like, I need to concentrate on this. I have a lot of work to do with my manuscript. And if you're looking kind of for a stamp of approval to start querying, Author Mentor Match probably isn't for you. This is really a mentorship program where you really want to really work on your manuscript, kind of tear it apart and build it back up again. But it's completely worth it, and I'm so glad I got into it. I'm really excited for her to see the latest version of it when I'm complete with it, because I am pushing so hard to make this so much better just so that I don't let her down. That's a good motivation for me. If you're new here, my name is Lainey and I make videos on books and writing, so if that interests you, definitely subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys all very soon. Have a great day. Bye.